My name is Caleb Bug. I work as operations analyst for Rose and as a writer for ROBE. I first want to open today up with the I attend the check-in system. I know many of you are coming for continuing education credits as well. We have a check-in system that we sent an announcement out through the WOVA app for a little while ago. I'm going to show sort of that setup and just to make sure that everyone who's coming for credits can receive their credits. So I'm going to start inside the app. For those who have the WOVA app, if you don't have the WOVA app, then we'll do some troubleshooting offline just to start. But on the agenda for today, you'll see a day one check-in from 11 to 12. If you view this session, there are instructions attached for you to log in. These instructions are about the I attend system, and they'll take you through the login, to the self check-in, and they have a code today. If you read the instructions, you go through this process, we'll be able to get you a certification at the end of the day for your CEUs and for your continuing education credits. And I'll stop there for this part, but please reach out to any of the Rose staff, Andrea specifically, Andrea Serrano, or me, or any of the other Rose staff if you have questions. And we'll bring this up at the end of the next session, at the end of the next hour or two, to make sure you can check in today. Are there any more announcements the team wants to start with? Otherwise, I'll transition into our first day.
No announcements on my end, Caleb.
No mine, thank you, Caleb.
All right, great. Well, welcome you all to day one of the Rose and ROBE conference. This is ROBE's 5th annual and Rose's 10th annual conference and Health Equity Summit. I'm just going to start by reading our president's letter, President and Change Leader, Dr. Kimberly Bug. I'm going to read 2 paragraphs from her president's letter that's also available on the app. And then we'll introduce Emil Risby, who will get us started for the day. Please do communicate in the chat if you have questions for the team. And also through the WOVA app, we'll be monitoring the chat as well. So the title of our conference this year is Reckoning with Resilience. I'm going to read an excerpt from our president's letter starting on the 2nd page. It reads, since the reclamation of the African first food tradition began, the builders of the African American breastfeeding movement operated in the most important space, from within the community, with and without titles and recognition. As the United States began its steps to recenter breastfeeding into communities, the formal development of a breastfeeding field under the auspices of Eurocentric education systems was of course largely dominated by white women. Over the past decade, increased attention has been focused on the gap in breastfeeding between Black and African Americans and other races and ethnicities. The movement to increase breastfeeding initiation and duration has been spearheaded at the grassroots level by dedicated leaders working on the ground, deeply rooted in their communities. Every day, leaders in the African American communities are passionately fighting to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding. This crucial work goes mostly unnoticed, unrecognized, and under-resourced. Our African American breastfeeding blueprint takes this opportunity to recognize the named and nameless builders of the African American breastfeeding movement over the past 10 years. Their work and contributions have had a significant impact on birthing and influencing the change leaders of today. So again, please read this on the app once you get the chance. It is connected to our first session of the day tomorrow. You'll be able to see the full PDF. With that, we'll transition to our first speaker for the day, Dr. Emil Risby, and I'll be reading his introduction. So Dr. Emil Risby received his medical degree from Meharry Medical College in 1982 and his bachelor's degree from Tennessee State University, and is board certified by the American Board of Psychiatry and Neurology in both psychiatry and forensic psychiatry. He did his psychiatry residence at Emory University before going to the National Institute of Mental Health for 2 years as a medical staff fellow. Currently, he's at the Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities as the Chief Medical Officer, where he joined in 2011. His role is expanded to include the Director of Hospital Services in June of 2013. With that, I'll introduce Dr. Risby and invite him to speak. Thank you.